Today we are checking out a deck that I can't believe we're actually even looking about. That's just whatever. Hey, Nick from 9Card TCG, and today we're talking about Eternatus VMAX of all things in the Pokemon trading card game. Eternatus is not one that comes to mind when you think competitive or good, but Stake Frank over on Twitter, Frank Persick, who was an EUIC finalist and did pretty well at the Arlington Regionals, placed 33rd with this Eternatus deck. So maybe it's one of those things that was just a very good meta call. Maybe he hit some fortunate matchups. You know, he posted on Twitter his deck list and his matchups, and I'll have a link to his Twitter in the video description, so you please go check it out. Follow Frank. He's a phenomenal person. Love Frank. Anyway, you know, I think he played 3 Lugias and lost 2 of them. So, you know, in a tournament where Lugia is expected to be pretty popular, maybe this isn't the best choice, but it can handle things like Mew and probably Lost Box pretty well. So was this a really good meta call? Did he just get really lucky? Is he just that good of a player where you can take a deck like this that nobody expects and do really well? It's probably a combination of all of those, but we're going to take a look at the video on Pokemon Trading Card Game Live. Apologize for that in advance, and if you haven't already, do me a favor, subscribe, like, comment, all that kind of stuff. Tells YouTube this is a good channel, other people should watch it. I have a new YouTube Shorts channel, so please go check that out and subscribe to that. It helps a ton, and it's just daily shorts stuff, right? It's not about like wearing shorts, it's YouTube Shorts as Pokemon related. So, you know, if you're interested, you can go check that out. Video in link in the video description to that. And we're just going to go to Pokemon Trading Card Game Live, something I hopefully don't have to say for too much longer, even though it is going to be the future, which, a little depressing. So we're here looking at Eternatus, and while we're not really interested in the Eternatus V, though Power Accelerator can be kind of nice. You hit, you know, for 30 damage, maybe on a Comfey, maybe on a Meloetta, you hit for 60, kind of cool, and you can attach a Dark Energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, so that's pretty cool. Dynamax handling is terrible. It's an awful attack, and we should never ever use it. What we are really looking to use is Eternatus VMAX. Now, this has 340 health, which is the highest base health in the entire game, and it has a phenomenal ability, Eternal Zone. If all of your Pokemon in play are Dark types, you can have up to 8 Pokemon on your bench, and that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. This ability stops working. If this ability stops working, I should say, discard Pokemon from your bench until you have 5. So, Path of the Peak stops this from working. The Pokemon getting knocked out stops this from working. So, that's kind of annoying, but Dread End for just a Dark and a Colorless does 30 damage times the number of Dark Pokemon you have in play. Well, we can have 8 on the bench and 1 in the active, so that's a total of 9, which means we're hitting for 270 damage, which is pretty decent. However, you might be saying, Nick, 270 damage is just shy of knocking out most V-Stars that are seeing play. That's not even taking a 1-shot on 2 prize, and they're going to be 2-shotting us a 3 prizer. How does that work? Well, the answer is we're going to be using things like Galarian Weezing. Neutralizing Gas says that as long as this Pokemon is in the active, none of your opponent's Pokemon have any abilities. So you can't use Archeops's Primal Turbo ability. You can't even use Summoning Star to get Archeops into play. You can't use Luminous Sign. You can't use Crobat's Dark Ass. No ability works while this is in the active for your opponent. It is incredible. So we can now Severe Poison. It does 4 damage instead of 1 in between turns. And we have something like Hisuian Sneasler, which says that your opponent's poison Pokemon take 2 more damage counters instead of just the 1 they would normally take. Now with Severe Poison and Radiant Sneasler, they're taking 6 damage in between turns, which is kind of nice. A lot of Lugia decks don't have a ton of switch outs, so that poison's probably going to stick around, especially if you manage to poison a V-Star. They're going to be taking a lot of chip damage. So even just the 60 damage that they would take, or even just the 40 damage that they would take, means we hit that 280 mark, and we have 30 excess, so that if they do have a V-Guard energy, we are still clearing that V-Guard energy. So Severe Poison gives us the perfect math. Now, obviously, if they have a big charm on them, which I have not seen Lugia decks do, you'd still be 30 shy, unless, you know, the poison lasted for an extra turn, or you manage to get the 60 damage and stuff, but whatever. That's a little much. How do we get this Weezing into play? Well, we have Koffing with the Ascension attack, single dark energy, which means if we go first, we just put Koffing into the active. Our opponent's probably not going to knock it out, and then we just attach an energy, evolve the next turn. Really cool. Or if we go second, we can still put the Koffing in the active, attach an energy, and just Ascension and evolve instantly, which is really, really cool. We have 4 copies of Crobat V because we want to be able to draw cards and fill up our bench at the same time with Dark Pokemon, so that's kind of cool. Venomous Fang is not a terrible attack to use at certain times. And then we also have Crobat VMAX with the Stealth Poison attack. It's going to hit for 70. It's going to poison your opponent's active Pokemon, and then we get to switch it with a Pokemon on our bench, which is really nice because we can kind of go back and forth between, say, something like Weezing and Crobat. So we hit with Stealth Poison, they take 70 damage plus poison damage, and remember, don't forget Radiant Sneasler gives us 2 extra points of poison damage, and then we go into our Weezing and just kind of lock down that board. If we are shy 10 damage, let's say we've done no poison damage to our opponent's active V-Star, they're fresh, 280 health, well, Dread End can do 270. Well, that's where Galarian Zigzagoon comes into play. We can just throw it down from our hand to the bench and put 10 damage on one of our opponent's Pokemon, which means the active, right? If the one we're going to be 10 shy on is where the Zigzagoon damage is going to go. Now, of course, we do have Drapion V for the Mew matchup because Mew, despite us being all dark types, Mew is very problematic. They can be really aggressive, they just hit super hard, and they're very, very fast. So we need a little bit of time to build up a Pokemon, whether we're trying to use Crobat VMAX as Max Cutter, which is really not ideal, but even just to get us enough time to get a bunch of Pokemon in play so that Dread End hits for enough damage, and also getting those 2 energies on there, we have Drapion, which is going to let us attack for free thanks to Wild Style for each of our opponents' Fusion Strike, Rapid Strike, or Single Strike Pokemon that they have in play. The attack cost is 1 colorless less. It's going to do 190 to a Dark weak Pokemon. It's going to be hitting for 380, but you do have to put 60 damage on one of your Pokemon. You got 9 to choose from, so it's probably not that big of a deal. And then as far as energy goes, we have 7 basic Dark Energy, 1 Hiding Dark Energy. Then the Hiding Dark, ideally, we want to put on something like a Weezing. Has a retreat cost of 3, but again, so we can kind of get it in and out of the active very easily. It's a really good pivot. We can use it for something like I mentioned before, the Stealth Poison. The Crobat retreats to the bench. Then we go ahead, send it the Weezing. Well, on our next turn, we'll just be able to retreat the Weezing for free because Dark Hiding Energy says that if it's attached to a Dark type Pokemon, it has no weakness, which is really cool. And then we just kind of cycle through and really prevent our opponent from doing too much. We have a bunch of trainers. Oh, I didn't craft these 2 Judge. I'm going to do that right now because I like full arts and I like all my full arts to match. So we got 4 copies of Marnie, pretty standard. We got a couple of copies of Serena, just extra draw support, gust power, and then Judge. Judge is, why would we ever want Judge? Well, a lot of decks are running things like Oranguru, which is kind of annoying. So they might use a Oranguru to put a card from their hand that they really, really need or want for next turn on the top of their deck. And then if we Marnie them, well, they just draw into it anyway. But Judge says shuffle your deck into your, shuffle your hand into your deck instead of putting your hand at the bottom and drawing a few cards. So it's a good way of disrupting any type of Oranguru, Switching Cups, Rotom Phone shenanigans that you do see from time to time. Temple of Sinnoh, as if the Weezing wasn't enough, we're going to be able to use Temple of Sinnoh to really slow down Mew and Lugia decks, anything that's going to rely on special energies. We do have a Big Parasol. We are worried about Yveltal. It is a very strong, powerful card. We really don't want to deal with something like Sableye just sprinkling damage onto all of our Pokemon. We got a lot of them to choose from, so Big Parasol is going to protect all of our Pokemon from effects of our opponent's attacks when it's attached to our active Pokemon. Our other tool is going to be the Forest Seal Stone. It just lets us search our deck for any card we want. It's once per game ability, but it works through Path to the Peak, and it works through, it just finds us any card we want, which is really, really solid. Couple of Pokemon search in the form of Quick Ball, Ultra Ball. We really want to find Pokemon, so Quick Ball, Ultra Ball is the way to go. Trekking Shoes for a little bit extra digging power, and then Dark Patch. We can use something like Trekking Shoes. If we draw into an energy, we can go ahead and discard it, and then use something like Dark Patch so that we can take that energy we just discarded and then accelerate it to one of our bench Dark Pokemon, which is really all of our Pokemon. So a few switches, and then we have an Ordinary Rod to recover a little bit of energy and Pokemon should we need to. That's really the whole deck. Let's go and see how it does. Alright, going into our game here. We really want to go first if possible. Our opponent's going to choose the coin flip, so okay. Going second isn't the end of the world. Like I said, we do have those Koffings. We can immediately go into Ascension. We do have Power Accelerator on the Eternatus, so that gives us an opportunity to kind of get a little bit of a head in case they do knock out our active Eternatus, something like that. My big concern though is starting nothing but a Crobat. We do have 3 or 4 Crobat Vs, so it's a really high chance we start a Crobat, and I do not like that. Again, we do run Hiding Dark Energy and Switch, so we can get it out of the active, but here we go. This is not bad. This is not bad. We got the Hiding Dark. It's exactly what we want to see. We got the Hiding Dark Energy so that we can pretty easily go ahead and get this Ascension up and running. It's going to turn off the Dunsparce's ability. It's going to turn off anything like Miltank's ability. So you just kind of poison stall Miltank. Now we do have to be a little bit wary of Miltank and the attack route, because if we have a bunch of energies, a bunch of Pokemon on our discard, route's going to hit really, really hard. Let's go ahead and Trekking Shoes. Do I want to take this Dark Energy? I'm going to say no. We get the Koffing. We don't really care too much about that, but we will Crobat for 3. We have another Crobat for next turn, so I'm okay. Alright. Temple of Sinnoh is really nice. Temple of Sinnoh is really nice. I don't know if I want to play it just yet. I think I'm just going to Ascension. I know I didn't play support yet, but I don't want to. I don't have a ton of cards in hand. So we're just going to go ahead and get the Weezing. Kind of call it a day. See what happens. I don't think the Temple is necessary. I want to be able to save it for if they throw down a Path. Now I have the Temple. Because that's something that these Blissey decks do like to do, is try to Marnie Path. So I want to save my Temples and my Stadium Bumps until afterwards. They get rid of a boss, which is always good to see. We don't see, and that's exactly what I was afraid of. I did not want to get that Path into play, I didn't want to keep that Path into play, because then we just lose our Dread End, which is never a good thing. I probably should have benched the other Eternatus so that I always had a VMAX, but I don't want to give them like that. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter too much, right? If I give them all those prizes. We are going to get rid of the Judge so I can get the Eternatus VMAX. I have both of them. That's good. I got a Zigzagoon. This is my first search. We do have a Crobat VMAX. We got our Drapion. Probably won't need that. We got Sneasler. Let's just see about our energy counts. We still got some good supporters. Prize a Dark Patch. 4 Seal Stones there. Prize the Temple. And we have all of our energies. So, okay. I'm good with this. I'm okay with this. So we'll go ahead and bench the VMAX. Now we can drop the Crobat, draw a bunch of cards. Yes, and then we can go ahead and Marnie. I don't know that I want to Marnie just yet. We'll drop the Sneasler. We're going to put 6 points of poison on there. And we'll go ahead and just... Oh, the Temple hurts me. I forgot. It doesn't provide a Dark Energy anymore. Ooh, and it has no other effect. Well, how do you do? How do you do? So bumping the path with the Temple, while maybe not the most necessary, because if they, oh man, oh boy. I mean, they're not going to get the 20 extra damage, but they still hit pretty hard with the Blissey. Putting a cape on the Dunsparce is completely irrelevant. They're going to go ahead and get the attack off. They'll just power that thing up. It's going to have 300 health. So I think my goal is to send up a Weezing and try to do some chip damage. Gotta find a regular Dark Energy. Gotta find a regular Dark Energy. And we do find one. Okay, good. So now we can go ahead and use that. I'm going to get rid of the Quick Ball. I really want to save that switch. I'll go ahead and grab ourselves another Crobat. Try to draw a few more cards. Drawing 4 is okay here. I think anyway. Big Parasol is kind of nice. I don't think we really need it, but it's whatever. I don't think we need the Parasol. We'll get rid of the Koffing and the Ordinary Rod. No, we'll get rid of the Parasol. I'm not really concerned about them doing effects. We're going to get another VMAX just to be safe. Even though I probably could have saved it for next turn so that I had like a guaranteed... Crobat for next turn. I don't have that many cards left, so I probably would have been able to draw into it. And luckily, Natural Cure on the Blissey V is something that we would normally care about. Oh god, that lucky ice popped me. Flip Tails. Nope. I mean, they're going to take 60 no matter what, so fine. Because, again, Natural Cure... When they attach an energy, they've completely healed. Why is it every time my opponent plays Lucky Ice Pop, they just flip heads constantly? Please get rid of this. Please flip tails, finally. No? Okay. Cool. Well, constantly, this happens to me. I had someone flip 9 heads in a row once. 9 heads, crazy. So... I mean, we're going to be able to attack. They don't cure the poison because neutralizing gas prevents that. I have the switch, so I'll send up the Crobat for now. Really kind of hope I draw into a supporter here. No, we find a Dark Energy. So we do 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. We do 150 damage. Not enough. It is not enough, my friends. I would do 180. 180 and 60 is 2... Oh, that actually might... I think that is enough, actually. I forgot to count itself. So that's 240 plus the 60 poison. It was enough. It was just barely enough. I got very, very lucky. I forgot to count the Eternatus itself. We do have a supporter for next turn. Zigzagoon, extra dark type attacker. So that's great. Or an extra dark type Pokemon to do more damage with the Eternatus. They got rid of all their Cape of Toughness, so that's a concession. Alright, let's try the ranked ladder, see how we do with Eternatus. We're going to go Tails, because Tails never fails, right? That's what everybody says, and Tails never fails until it does. So, and the last game I picked heads, and it was Tails, and now I picked Tails, and it's heads. So, you know, it's very unlikely that our opponent lets us go first. Usually going first is the better option, especially when you don't know what you're playing against. Yeah, there you go, opponent will go first. We have some options here. We can... see, this is what I was afraid of. Starting nothing but a Crobat is very scary. Because now I don't get to draw. And, oh no. Oh no, what are the odds that we play a fighting type Sandaconda? What? Oh man, that's not good. Well, Trekking Shoes. Yeah, I'll take it. And we're just gonna Marnie. Oh man, I can't believe we're playing of all things. I'm gonna get rid of. No, I'm gonna get rid of this. This is terrible. I don't have an energy. I don't have a switch. Even if I use the forest tablet to get a switch, I still don't have an energy. But I could Star Alchemy for a Crobat and try to find. I didn't want to use it like that, but I'm gonna draw 4. We get an energy. Not good enough though. Not good enough. Alright, well, that's about as good as it gets. Next turn, we'll be able to throw down the Weezing. We'll be able to quick ball away potentially our top deck. Just to thin the hand out, drop the Temple of Sinnoh. Hopefully I Marnie them into a pretty bad hand. Sandaconda's kind of annoying, and the Oranguru letting them kind of swap cards around is problematic, because then if they don't have a good card, or the card they want to save, they can deal with it. We talked about that before. 60 damage with Sand Eater. Okay, we can live with that. Now, we're going to Weezing here. I can do 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. We're going to get rid of the Temple. We're not going to grab anything, because I need space to put this Crobat down. Hope we find an Eternatus VMAX. Find an energy. Alright. We'll get rid of you. And I guess I don't want to give the Eternatus, because if they evolve Boss KO, I'm in a lot of trouble. So we're just going to go ahead and retreat. Go into the Weezing. I really want to try to find like a Dark Patch. I think that's super necessary. So I am going to Marnie here. I think I really want to try to find it. That would be so helpful, finding Dark Patch. We don't. But we can Severe Poison, do some chip damage, try to buy us some time for when we can use our Eternatus. Man, this is not great. They're going to heal Poison if they evolve. Timber? I don't even know. I know what it... There's the Stone Fighting Energy. It doesn't do anything. It provides a colorless energy. That's enough for them to use Sand Breath and do 220, but they do have to discard all 2 energy from that Pokemon, which is kind of cool. Seems like they're not going to evolve, which would be pretty sweet. And as soon as this Timber evolves, the Cape of Toughness is gone. So... okay. I'm not really sure what to do from this point. We're gonna Crobat, right? They take 120 damage, okay. They don't even have a fighting energy on there, because this is technically colorless. How many dark energies do I have in there? I got 2. Alright. I don't think I'm gonna... do I Ordinary Rod just to get it out of the hand? I'll put the Eternatus and a Dark Energy. Just one. This way I still have an energy for Dark Patch in the discard. I'm going to Serena. I'm going to discard 3. They're not really doing too much. We get the Dark Patch, which is huge. Dark Patch is huge. We'll go ahead and drop you. And we're just going to end our turn. They have to evolve this next turn, otherwise this thing gets KO'd. And even if they don't evolve, it probably gets KO'd. Urshifu, what is going on? What is this? What is... I mean... It's not a fighting energy. Not yet. It's just a colorless energy as long as that Temple of Sinnoh's in play. So that's kind of good. They don't take 20 less damage. They're not able to attack. This thing just gets KO'd. It's kind of... Okay. Alright. Our Crobat's safe for a turn. This deck is all... my opponent's deck is all over the place. I'm not trying to be mean. It just seems that way. You know, Rocky Helmet, Cape of Toughness on a Timber. Why is there a Timber in this deck at all? I don't know. I understand the combination of Sandaconda and Urshifu. You kind of move your energies from Sandaconda or like all over the place to make like Gale Thrust and Rapid Flow plays happen. That's a beautiful... That's beautiful prizing right there. Love it. Love to see it. We needed that last Crobat. We haven't seen an Eternatus VMAX in quite a while. Hiding Dark is just... This is like the perfect kind of hand. We'll go Weezing. Gale Thrust with the Choice Belt will one-shot this Eternatus, right? It'll do 180 is 360, so that's enough to KO this. We're going to Quick Ball. I guess we'll get the Eternatus, right? Draw a few cards. Maybe we can find a Switch. Switch would be nice. There's the Switch. Beautiful. Switch into the Weezing. And I don't want to really play a supporter. Oh my goodness, it is the Temple of Sinnoh that is killing me again. Once again, my own Temple of Sinnoh. Fine. Fine, fine, fine. Oh, I hate this temple sometimes. I understand it, but like, man, with the Hiding Dark energy, it is very antagonistic. Right? Like, you want to be able to free retreat, and now I just can't. But okay, we can at least severe poison. They didn't do anything last turn except attach an energy, so whatever. I probably next turn Lugia. What? I mean, I don't think they're able to. Yeah. So I'm gonna boss up that Urshifu, absolutely, and knock it out because it is by far the biggest threat. And we have Serena to do that. Oh, I don't even need to. Don't even need to. So we do 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Just enough. Just enough. I am going to be losing quite a bit of energy, but I think it's okay. We'll retreat into the... we will switch... No! 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 That was... No! No! Why did I didn't mean to do that. I did not mean to do that. This is why it's so difficult to play and stream. I can record videos at the same time, because you tell yourself a plan. I'm going to Serena up, and then I in my head, that's like, okay, that's what I got to do, and I went to do it, even though I didn't need to, because I said I was going to do it, so my brain's like, yeah, do it, it's a good plan, because it was a good plan until they made the mistake of sending up the Urshifu, and then I made the mistake. Now, it luckily only does 300 damage, right? Unless I get a choice belt on this thing. 100 Furious Blows only does 300, not enough to KO me. So, we're okay there. And we're okay there. Yeah, 100 Furious Blows, no choice belt. We still win. That was such a misplay on my part. I can't believe that. What a joke. But never punished. You know what I'm saying? We just never punished. I hate that I have to take this last prize, by the way. I think it's absolutely a waste of everybody's time. There we go. Eternatus, a thing. So there you have it. Eternatus has some merit behind it. We didn't really get to see it play against any meta decks, despite me playing both casual and ranked ladder, so I apologize. You didn't really get to see it, but we know how it does against Lugia based on Frank's performance at Arlington Regionals. It doesn't really beat Lugia. It's going to beat Mew pretty easily, I would say. So if you want to see how it does against some other decks, feel free to play it yourself. Deck list is in the video description. But yeah, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, found it informative. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, 9-card shorts, the thing, video description, okay, blah, blah, blah. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.